Greetings, friends and neighbors, and welcome to episode 14 of the Community Solutions Podcast, coming to you from the Department of Social and Behavioral Sciences at the Indiana University Fairbanks School of Public Health in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm Jack Turman Jr., a faculty member in the department, and your host for this podcast. Today we present our first international interview. So please forgive some of the sound quality, as this is the first time we've recorded an interview via teleconference. This episode is going to introduce you to Miss Maram Taibah. Maram is from Saudi Arabia and is working diligently through many art forms to promote the inclusion of individuals with physical and/or mental disabilities into communities around the globe. I had the pleasure of meeting Maram and her entire family about 25 years ago, when I was blessed to serve as the physical therapist for her older brother, Mahmoud. Mahmoud and his family taught me so much. Unfortunately, we lost touch for over 20 years, and just this summer, Maram reached out and we all were able to reconnect. In this interview, I chat with Maram about how she channels her passion for advocacy for individuals with disability through film, blog sites, and Instagram. In this episode, she talks about a short film she made in honor of her brother. The film is gaining attention on the film festival circuit around the globe, and I will make sure to provide a link to its trailer, as well as her blog and Instagram link in our episode notes. Maram's work explores how community members of all ages respond to individuals with disabilities and how this impacts individuals and their family members. Her work beautifully reminds us that individuals with disabilities and their family members have much to contribute to our communities and society at large. I hope you enjoy this. Let's join the conversation. Hi, Maram. Thank you so much for being here. You're our first international guest on the Community Solutions Podcast.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for having me.
It's wonderful. I love your work, and I want the whole world to know about your work. So let's get started. Can you kind of share with everyone what is your experience with disability in the community?
Yeah, sure. I grew up with an older brother who has a mental challenge. It was difficult for me as a child to understand it. There were times when I questioned why my brother was this way, and then I began to understand his condition. We also have my grandfather adopted a little girl who had cerebral palsy. She's a member of our family right now. So I've had that experience with family members. It's both been a joy to work with them and experience them, but also struggle to watch their challenges and watch them have certain difficulties in life.
How has this been challenging? And can you share with that, from where you live, right? Or in your travels, and from a daily life perspective and a larger perspective?
Yeah. Well, if I were to take my brother, for example, it's been challenging because on a personal level, like on an intimate level, it's really hard to know what he's thinking. It's hard to know what he's feeling. If he's sick, he doesn't communicate it unless he unless he's bleeding or whatever, he gets sick. So it's really hard to be able to track where he is emotionally or what his needs are, because he won't voice them. And then on a bigger level than that, there's really not much in our country for people like him to do. Like there's no occupational therapy or any opportunities for people like him to be able to express themselves and find fulfillment doing something that that they love and that would contribute to society. So um, that's where we're struggling with. That's what we're struggling with right now with my brother. Is we're trying to constantly find him activities that would keep him occupied. But the thing that's missing is that it's not challenging enough and it's not fulfilling enough for him. When we travel, it's the difficulties that we have with someone like my brother is the fact that we need to always keep our eye on him.
Right, right.
Yeah. Like for example, I just made a film about that. I made a film about a young man with a mental challenge who, when his older sister just turned her back for a couple of seconds, she gets off the subway train onto the platform and she misses him and he gets stuck in the crowd at the door and the door's shut and the train leaves and he's on it. So it's a moment. It's a tiny moment where you weren't paying attention. So it's stuff like that causes a lot of stress in these kinds of situations. So we've been thinking as a family, we've been discussing the possibility of maybe having a tracking device, for example, on him at all times, so that we know where he is and we'll be able to find him if we ever lost him.
Right. Right. That's a worry of so many families with individuals with disabilities when they take them out into communities, because there's so much variability about how communities view, respond to, and respond with these individuals. And it's a great unknown, and so that causes so much stress. I know that I'm so glad you mentioned your beautiful short film. It's so powerful. So can you talk about your work in general and how you have used it to contribute to the lives of those who are disabled and their families?
Yeah. I'm a writer and filmmaker. I write both fiction and film, and recently made a short film about. Well, the film was inspired by a fear that I had regarding my brother, and like I've always been terrified that this would ever happen. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I make a film about it? And ask myself a very important question, and that is, what would happen if someone with a mental challenge who's very dependent on their family, like the people that we love that depend on us, would they survive if they were ever left alone? So that's a question that this film poses me and the audience. And the reason that I made this film, another reason that I made this film, is also because I felt like there were things about our journey with my brother as a family that we never looked at, that we never tried to talk about or find healing for. So the reason I made this film was also to maybe get my family to look at those feelings, those hard feelings that we often run away from.
Right. Because when you live in the day-to-day, sometimes we forget to take the time to do that.
Right. And it's often very difficult. They're very hard feelings to look at. They can be quite scary. So I can totally empathize with the resistance toward looking at those feelings, but at the same time, I really think it's important for my family and other families who are dealing with this kind of thing to actually work together, support each other, and go through those emotions, no matter how hard they are, because that's the way that we can create space for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Right. I thought that film was so beautiful too because it shows the interactions of the main character, right?
Yeah.
Interacting with a range of folks in a large urban community, right? And the range of reactions that people have, and his reactions, and I thought it was really beautiful to show the honesty of that, right? Do you know? And the relationships that occurred between those individuals that he interacted with. So I thought you did a really great job of that, my friend. I really do.
Thank you.
I think it's really important for people to see that.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that you could magically make appear to help the lives of those who are disabled in your life, what would that be? What would you do?
I think the one thing that worries me with my brother and also the young lady who's part of our family right now is expression and communication. Those are the things that I thought were always the barriers between us and them, is that we don't know what they're thinking and we don't know what they're feeling. So this young lady who my grandfather adopted, she has a lot of difficulty speaking. We don't understand her very often. And it breaks my heart because it just makes them isolated and maybe even lonely. And I feel like there could be so much more fulfillment and expression if we could only understand what they're thinking or feeling or what they're going through. So what I would magically create is some kind of device that, gives us access to that inner world, the inner world that is shut out, like that is inaccessible, that we are shut out of.
Right. To unlock that and let their personal magic be communicated. Because we can see their personal magic, when we interact with them, but they have a lot more to share that just through communication challenges can't get out.
Exactly.
And so no one better to make that magic happen than you, because I'm serious, because it's how you dedicate your life. You're dedicated to writing and to filmmaking and to really creating communication opportunities to help expose the world, to individuals with disabilities, and to hopefully help transform the way that the world community interacts with them. So I appreciate the work you do so much.
Thank you.
Can you?
I appreciate your work as well.
Thanks. Can you share with our listeners some ideas about how they can use the arts, and the arts however they want to see it, whether it be through film or photography or writing, music, dance, because everyone can do something, right, in this creative domain. How can they use their creativity to help others who have disabilities and who live in their communities? How might they help? What do you think?
Well, there are so many avenues to do that. It really depends on what every individual is able to offer or contribute, and depends on the kind of disability that we're talking about. But I'm gonna use my experience as a jumping off point. So someone like my brother needs to be seen, So I would I don't know, if you're a filmmaker, go and do a documentary. Give us a portrait of this person, of this beautiful, precious, special person. Maybe there are things about them that we've never seen before. If only there was a camera to show us,
Right.
Children love stories. It doesn't matter if they have a disability or not. They all love stories. Go and read to them. Connect with them through images, through illustrations, through narrative. Narrative is very powerful.
Right.
I would highly recommend the use of narrative to connect.
And don't you think, Maram, too, everyone around the world can do this now, because most people have cell phones, right? And we use it to take pictures, and we use it to capture videos, and
Absolutely.
And then you can look at one of the positive aspects of our social media platforms is now there are ways to share that, right? Do you know?
Absolutely.
And to really increase awareness, and like you said, to show the beauty of all individuals.
Yeah, exactly.
So, do you have any fun projects coming up? I'm just throwing that in.
I'm writing a novel. I'm like elbow deep into this novel. I'm at chapter 15, and it's
Wow.
been quite a journey. There's been so many ups and downs, and it's like it encompasses various pieces of me. It's coming from the heart. I love it.
That is great. Is your brother in it? Is your brother represented in it?
No, he's not.
No.
Not in this one.
Not in this one. Okay. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you spending time with us and sharing your story and really helping our listeners understand the importance of looking at the beauty of all people, but especially of people that have disabilities, and to really tapping into the importance of seeking out ways to help them communicate, right? To give them opportunities for expression, and for all of us to use our creative power to help communities better understand the lives of individuals with disabilities and their family members, because it really is something that is impactful to all of those folks in the immediate circle. So I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure, as always, talking to you, Dr. Jack.
It is wonderful talking to you.
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, me too. So thank you so much, and we will sign off for now, my friends. Take care. Bye.